Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to the Niqabi Diaries series by The Pen, the sound of sisters raising their voices with the written word. I'm your host Samar, and thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of By the Pen. Alhamdulillah, we have with our sister Ruzina to share with us her new book that she's recently written. I'll let her introduce herself, inshallah, and also the book, tell us about it.
Great. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, and Ramadan Mubarak to you. Summer, is it?
Yes,
is it summer?
Ramadan Mubarak.
Nice to virtually meet you.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Right, so let me tell you about my book. So basically, it's just like a really light-hearted self-help book where you get to, laugh a little and learn a lot as I walk you through kind of like the process of achieving some of those like big goals that you might have in your life. And along the way, I try and bring in a bit of neuroscience, a bit of positive psychology, and then I try and weave it in with Islam. But I'm not a scholar or a preacher or anything like that. I'm not no Yasmin Mujahid. So this book isn't one of those like serious academic or even like Islamic books. It's just about me sharing a little bit of wisdom on chasing some of your wildest dreams and living a life that you can really love through the power of prayer.
Okay, mashallah. Sounds interesting. So what's the name of the book for the listeners? I know what the name of the book is, but so that they know what it's called.
Right, so the book is called Dream Dua Do, and it's a 3-part book. So the first section will help you, like dream big. The second section really is about dua and understanding the power of prayer. And then the third section is do, where I take you through like 7 steps of how you can go about manifesting those dreams.
Mashallah. Okay, so what exactly inspired you to write this book?
Do you know, well, first of all, we were stuck in COVID for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the UAE, it was tough. We were literally, I'd say, under house arrest. Every evening at 7 o'clock, we'll get this alarm. Burp, 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 and it means go home, stay home, don't come out. And it was just really hard, like suddenly, obviously the whole world was going through it, masks on, gloves on. We had to take like PCR tests every week. We had to carry around this app that had a green pass. It was just like a bizarre moment of my life. We were really policed and really stuck at home. And with COVID and everything going on, it was like just a really morbid situation. And I was like, oh my days, if something happens to me, if I die, what are all the things I want my kids to know? And what are everything that they need to know to set up a good, successful, happy life? And so I just started writing, and I'm a keen journaler anyway. So as I was going on journaling, one day I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, this is actually a really good concept for a book. And so I just sent it out to like publishers, and people got back to me, and that's how it all started.
Okay, mashallah. So would you, like is it your first book that you've written?
It is my first debut years ago. I have this lovely friend, Rabina Khan, and I did like some poetry writing with her in one of her books. So this is definitely my first debut just by myself.
Okay, mashallah. So you had does that mean you had a little bit of experience with regards to publishers and things like that?
A tiny bit of exposure to it, but this was my first like all in, going in and doing the whole thing as a first time author.
Okay, mashallah. So would you say it's like would you say that it's easy as a first time author in UAE, because that's where you live now? You said that you just reached publishers and stuff. Is there like a network or something for authors there? And how what's
I think the UAE is just a really great place to dream big, because everywhere you look around, like everything is the biggest, the best, the longest, like whatever, like record breaking thing that they can do, they're out there doing it. And you can feel that in the environment that you live in. They really encourage you to dream big and go out there and chase, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. So I think, especially as Muslim writers, as brown writers, anywhere in the world right now, I think there's a good space to start, you know, putting your voice out there, and opportunities will follow, definitely.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So who would you say your book is aimed at? You mentioned that, you know, you when you started writing, you was thinking about what would you like your kids to know if you die. So is it specifically
But
for
it was,
the younger generation, or is there like a wider kind of genre?
yeah. So I wrote the book with the kids in mind, but they're not ready to read a book like this. This book was actually written, my audience are like millennial Muslimas, women like me around my age, women, you know, in their late 20s, 30s, heading into their 40s. Those are the type of women that I aim to write for. Yeah, millennial Muslimas, I call them.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So would you say that writing a book was something you've always wanted to do? Because you mentioned as well that you've always been like a keen journaler. So do you think that process obviously helped you with actually having the confidence to, you know, be able to write a book?
Yeah, no way. Writing was never really on my radar. I've never thought, oh my God, I wish I could be. It was very, very accidental, actually. And the fact that it's blowing up so big, like, I'm like, what? I didn't anticipate this at all. It wasn't on my radar. I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, that was my big dream. So yeah, alhamdulillah. I am
Well,
a teacher.
inshallah, dream do I do. So
Yeah. And it just blew up. And literally, there was just something really magical about the time that I wrote the book and the way it just unfolded. When I used to write these manuscripts, I'd print them up, bind them, and I'd write international bestseller. I'll always scribble that at the back, at the front of my book. And that's what happened. The book went super viral. It's gone international. It became a bestseller. And along the way, I've become like known as a writer.
alhamdulillah.
But it wasn't something on my radar. That's it. Sometimes things come your way and you've just got to, you know, like grasp it, take it, and just go with it and see where it takes you.
Absolutely. So what would you say then was your biggest challenge putting together this book?
My biggest challenge even now, I would say actually imposter syndrome. You know, like obviously I never really wanted it wasn't never on my radar to become an author or anything like that. And you know, the book isn't from like a proper you know, practicing Muslimah, like positivity even, or just piety. Like I struggle with it, you know, it doesn't come naturally to me. So I was actually writing the book from a skeptic's point of view, because when I was growing up and I would read all these Islamic books, it was really like, do this, do that, this is haram, that is halal. You know, it was kind of like a set of rules and regulations. And obviously I found my way through Islam, like stumbling, falling, picking myself up again. Like it's a struggle, right? Yeah, so I wanted a guidebook for those strugglers out there. I wanted a guidebook for people like me. And I'm really into self-help books. But when you read like the Western self-help books, they don't really fulfill you either, because they've got all these like voodoo stuff going on.
Of course, there's a lot of nonsense contained in those, isn't it? SubhanAllah.
Yeah, like, you know, like obviously law of attraction, manifesting, and all of that stuff that is so like big right now. And that wouldn't sit well with me, because I was like, hey, I want something in the middle, but something that would say that I don't rely on the universe. I rely on the maker of the universe. You know, I'm a Muslim. I wanted a self-help book that would talk about our experiences, our stories. And obviously there was, you know, there still really isn't anything out there in the Western self-help book section. So My biggest challenge is imposter syndrome, not feeling good enough, not in
Mm,
the Western self-help section side, definitely not in the Islamic side. I'm like,
yeah, I get
who am
you.
I? Even now, you know, who am I to talk about the Quran
Yes,
and the
yes.
Hadith?
Yeah.
I'm Billy Nobody, man. You know, I'm just writing about my experiences, what I understand. You know, obviously, I'm qualified as a teacher and all of that stuff, but not qualified in the deen. Do you get
Mm,
me?
yeah, yeah.
So,
No, definitely, I get what you mean.
yeah.
I definitely get what you
So,
think. I think a lot of us
but
have that
then
issue as well. Like if I think, you know what, in
you're not expert enough.
at the same time, I think it's good to feel like that sometimes, because I think it's connected with having somewhat sense of
Humility.
sincerity and humility. Yes, definitely, because I feel like
Oh,
some people are very overconfident with just putting out anything or saying anything without thinking
yeah.
twice about it, and I think that's quite dangerous, because
Um,
obviously Allah's going to ask us, you know what I mean, like what did we say,
yeah,
what did we do, what did we write, you know, especially, you know, with social media now, it's so easy to
definitely.
just put out things and
And you're
anybody can
impacting.
read it, you know, and even
Yeah,
if you remove it afterwards, I mean, it's still there because other
yeah,
people could have shared it already or screenshotted it or whatever, do you know what I mean, and have taken it, you know, on,
yeah.
you know, so there's like there's a
You
lot
know,
of
and you're
responsibility with it now.
big responsibility. And obviously, I wrote from my heart. I
Hmm.
not for a second did I think that the book would blow up in the way that it did. And then obviously, once it got out in the world, I was like, oh my days, I know that words have power, but now words have power, right? And every day, subhanAllah, though, I'm finding that in its messiness, it managed to like inspire women that aren't really practicing Islam. It's inspiring women that aren't even Muslim. And every day I get, you know, DMs every day telling me, you've really made me think about, you know, Islam. You've really made me think, reconnect with the Deen. You've really made me, you know, question my purpose in life. Some of
Alhamdulillah.
these questions are from non-Muslim women. In its
Alhamdulillah.
messiness, in my, you know, not thinking good enough. And yeah, as when it went through the like whole publishing journey, I thought, oh my days, this is a big job. And I thought, who am I to do this? But sometimes, you know, who are you not to do this?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we can
alhamdulillah.
learn and we grow, and our voices are valid just as you know, as much as the next person.
Alhamdulillah.
So I'm
Alhamdulillah.
working on it. Imposter syndrome, definitely.
Well, of course. I mean, I think it's something that just comes and goes, isn't it? And if the more that you want to do, the more you're going to have it. But
Yeah,
it's something you just have to kind of work
yeah,
towards in it. And maybe it's a good way to like just
yeah,
keep checking yourself so that, as you said, like, you know, you have that level of
yeah,
humility, even if you
yeah.
are like, you know, deemed to be successful in terms of dunya and stuff like that. It just keeps you kind of level headed as well at
Yeah.
the same
Check
time,
your
inshallah.
intentions.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Definitely check your intentions, check your purpose in life. Check, is it? So, you know, the core message of my book is that everyone, Muslim or non-Muslim, actually, however way you want to word it, our big dream is to enter Jannah. And everything that we do is our side hustle, basically, you know. What all these big dreams that we have, becoming an author, becoming a teacher, becoming a podcaster, they're our dunya dreams. And if they can't act as a stepping stone to get you towards your big dream, then you need to think about, you know, you need to question that dream that you have. Um, so that's what I try and get my readers to think about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Alhamdulillah. So, who would you say have been your biggest supporters during the course of writing this book?
Yeah, I've been so blessed with, you know, a really tight community. First of all, this book definitely blew up because, you know, my friends, my family from my mum's side, my dad's side, my in-laws side, everybody, because it's so easy on social media, right? You just send out a post. Everybody went all out and you know, did their best to like bring awareness to my book. And
MashaAllah.
then I'm so grateful for everyone. And because my family is so international, we've got family in Bangladesh and
Mhm.
Canada, everywhere, UK,
Alhamdulillah.
it
It's a
literally,
good network.
it literally went network. Yeah, my friends and family did their job, alhamdulillah. And then now I'm finding, like the writers community or the readers community online, they are the sweetest people. Like, I've not met them offline, but they've been, some of them have been my biggest cheerleaders, and it's so humbling, so nice to know, wow, like there's a whole group of people just waiting to root for you, waiting to support you. It's such a sweet experience, and that's one of the biggest things I'm grateful for, coming out and doing this thing. Because if I didn't write this book, I wouldn't have met all these amazing authors or
Yeah.
these book bloggers or anything. It's a whole other world out there.
Subhanallah.
Me and you, we wouldn't have been having this conversation.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So
Subhanallah.
yeah, you meet the
Alhamdulillah.
sweetest, kindest sisters. So
Alhamdulillah.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So,
Uh,
what advice would you give to somebody like yourself who is considering
hmm,
writing a book? I mean, you said you never thought you'd be an author, but then in the midst of, just writing and journaling, you came up with the idea that it would be good
yeah.
content for a book. So, and obviously you had
Mm,
the experience of, imposter syndrome and all these kind of things. So what kind of advice would
yeah.
you give to another sister in, in similar situation?
Yeah. Definitely. I say if you have that itch, if you have that calling in your heart, follow it, see where it takes you, and just go with it. Write, always have. I used to have a journal, I'd write on my phone, I'd write on my laptop, literally anywhere and everywhere. Follow that itch, I'd say, and give it a go. Like, I always say, the sky isn't the limit. We just think it is. We're calling out to Allah, especially now in the most powerful month of the year. Literally, anything is possible. Your life really is as incredible or as extraordinary as, the du'as you make. So I would say just close your eyes and go for it, and, come what may. And that goes for anything. Like, even the fact that I moved out to the UAE, I used to live in, East London. Like, it, I didn't think that I would ever live such a comfortable life, but take that risk, you close your eyes, go for it, see what happens, and you'll see in the end it all works out all right.
Alhamdulillah.
Um, yeah, so try it.
Alhamdulillah.
And especially for Muslim writers, brown writers in the UK, in America, the time is now. Where us Muslims, we're living through really privileged times, and that's why I really push the women, the readers in my book, to really dream big, not just for writing books, but anything in the political, area, in media, in the health industry, anywhere. Like, just go out there, raise your voice and make your mark, because now is a good time. So,
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Barakallah feekum, sister. It's been beautiful
yeah.
listening to you and having this conversation and, learning a little bit about your book. And inshallah, it will continue to do well and inspire many more sisters, for many future generations to come.
I hope so. I hope so. It's rough. We're working on the second edition now.
Inshallah.
Just trying to tide it up a little bit, because, like I said, I didn't anticipate that it would go this viral. And now I'm like, oh my God, I need to tighten it up now. The message is out there now. The
Yeah,
message needs to be
alhamdulillah.
stronger. Once you've figured out what your dunya dream is and how you're going to, use that as a stepping stone to get to your big dream, which is, to enter paradise, just really be single-minded in the pursuit for that greatness. Like, you're writing that book, right? Just be crystal clear about what you want out of this book. Why do you want it? And then, the how, that's going to come about so easily. It'll come in its own time. You don't need to worry about that. All you got to worry about what it is. You've got a book. Why is it so important for you to get your message out? Like me, obviously, I wrote it during COVID times. I had this burning itch to write that book. I just thought everybody in the world needs to know my message, which is, to just dream big. Life is a gift. Life isn't a test for me. Life really, I grew up believing that life is a test, and Islam is doomy and gloomy and all of that stuff. No, I think life is a gift, and we've been gifted so many beautiful talents that we need to use in this dunya, and use it to worship God in our ways. So be crystal clear about what you want, why you want it, and then go out and work your ass off for it.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair, sister. Thank you so much.
Don't hold back. Take today as a sign that this is a sign for you. Allah is telling you through someone else that your voice matters. We want to hear your story, and there's someone out there waiting to hear your advice from your mouth, because you could say the same thing in a million different ways. So many different authors, there are so many accomplished authors out there, like even in that Islamic space.
Yeah.
Why are every day, I kid you not, somebody from Canada, somebody from Kuwait, Asia, Malaysia, there's not a continent in the world that hasn't reached out to me. And I don't think my work is fantastic at all, but they're like, you really blew my mind. For some reason, my words connected them to the deen. And so in the same way, your words, they're going to impact someone. And
inshallah,
so go for it.
Inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for giving me your time today, sister. It's been a real pleasure talking to you and listening to your experiences, and I feel inspired to try to finish off my book, inshallah. So
please, the world needs you. The world needs your book. Yeah, definitely go for it. Recently we've had Ramadan Reflections by Alia. She got picked up by Penguin Random House, the biggest publishers. Had she sat there thinking, oh, I need to be a good little Muslim, who wants to read my book? No, we haven't got time for that. We need to go out there, grab it, and go for it.
Inshallah. I'd love to speak to her as well, actually, about her book.
Yeah,
nice. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. Dream big, and you'll be surprised where your du'as take you.
Inshallah.
Always tie your dreams to your du'as.
Be great. Actually, I didn't even ask you that. Where is your book available?
Everywhere. Waterstones, foils, online, Amazon. All the big bookshops have my books, all over the world. So just you just have to go in and just ask for the book, and inshallah I'll be there.
Inshallah.
So it depends on your country. So you guys are England, so I know the biggest sellers are Waterstones, foils, I think. But mainly people just buy from Amazon these days,
exactly.
Don't they?
It's so much easier online now, isn't it? You just get I mean,
so
even
I would say
stores, they've got their online websites that you can buy from. So okay, inshallah, we'll definitely do that. We'll put links to the to your book for the online in the description box, inshallah, so that anybody who is interested can get access. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, sister, and inshallah, when your next book is ready, then we can have another conversation, I hope, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.